The scenes in soaked Dubai tonight look apocalyptic. Roads turned into rivers, trees barely still standing as wind sends debris flying. The tarmac flooded at Dubai International Airport, the second busiest in the world. Imagine being a passenger on this plane, battling rising waters, seeing this out your window. For hours, flights were halted as stranded passengers piled up. Tonight, Dubai Airport telling passengers don't show up unless you've confirmed your flight's still leaving.
There are hundreds and thousands of other passengers just like me in this airport who have been waiting for 10 hours, 16 hours.
In 24 hours, Dubai drenched with more rain than the city usually gets in nearly 2 years, shattering records in a desert metropolis known for being hot and dry. Since the UAE started keeping track of rainfall in 1949, it's never seen anything like this.
So this is not a time lapse, this is real. I've never seen this much lightning in my life before. This is crazy.
He's supposed to be Turkish. Some say his father was German. Nobody ever believed he was real. Nobody ever knew him or saw anybody that ever worked directly for him. But to hear Kobayashi tell it anybody could have worked for Soze, you never knew. That was his power. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
There's progress. Master director Francis Ford Coppola is back with a first image from his science fiction epic, Megalopolis. The director behind masterpieces such as The Godfather and Apocalypse Now has returned to the world of film. After more than 40 years, his long-awaited passion project, Megalopolis, has finally been shot and could well be released this year. The development of Megalopolis was characterized by countless hardships and obstacles that Coppola had to endure over the decades. Now, however, the epic, starring Adam Driver, finally seems imminent. The general plot of the film is set in a future New York and presents us with a city that has been almost completely destroyed. A young architect now plans to rebuild it as a huge new utopia. However, this vision meets with opposition from the mayor, and a love affair with the mayor's daughter is likely to create further problems. The movie's cast is certainly impressive. In addition to Adam Driver in the lead role, we will also be able to see the likes of Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, Game of Thrones star Natalie Emmanuel, and Dustin Hoffman. Megalopolis is eagerly awaited. The unconventional director has been struggling with the Hollywood system for years and hasn't been able to achieve a big hit for a long time. We'll see whether this'll change with his new project.
Top secret CIA Weather Control Division, Dick speaking. I mean pizza store! Oh, it's you, Stan. What kind of favor?
Be safe. Be safe. Write the code down.
Just walking down the street and I seen this guy like walking up a building, literally, like it's crazy. They came in first and he was like literally walking up and then he let the cane go and I'm like, oh my God, like he's gonna fall.
Yeah,
He's gonna die.
I don't get it. I mean, honestly, it was kind of. He just walked. I mean, he started at the bottom and he walked straight up to that light. And you don't normally see anybody walking up the side of a building. It was crazy. It was incredible. Chris Angel's amazing.
To see our brother and your son climbing up over 500 feet, I mean, absolutely crazy nuts. Just thank God he's safe and he's in and he accomplished it.
If Chris Angel could do this, my daughter can do anything she wants to. There's just nothing's impossible, and Chris Angel proved that tonight.
If you can dream it, you can do it! Yeah!
A sign from God. Just hours after the Pope announced his surprise resignation, the heavens over Rome opened and the top of St. Peter's Basilica was struck by lightning. As the sky was lit up by the huge bolt, it led to speculation as to whether Benedict XVI's boss was less than happy with the news. The apparent divine intervention came as the 85-year-old pontiff sent shockwaves through the church on Monday after announcing his retirement, the first pope to do so in 700 years, saying he no longer had the mental or physical strength to carry on.
With the global gathering of Catholic bishops as a backdrop, Pope Francis warned the world is approaching the point of no return on climate. Amen. Published in a booklet, the pontiff's most forceful intervention yet in the climate crisis. Our responses have not been adequate, he wrote, while the world is collapsing and may be near the breaking point. He urged decisive acceleration to renewable energies and away from oil and gas, suggesting that interim solutions like carbon capture risk pasting and papering over cracks. He called out rich countries on their failure of conscience and responsibility.
Pope Francis did not travel to Dubai for the COP28 climate conference and instead sent the Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin. In his speech, he called for a greater commitment to combating climate change and its social consequences. On Sunday, the Pope was scheduled to inaugurate a pavilion at the conference that is dedicated to world religions. It was attended by several leaders of different faiths. The Pope instead sent a video message from Rome to express his gratitude for the initiative, which demonstrates the good that religious leaders can do when they work together.
Demos ejemplo como representantes religiosos para mostrar que un cambio es posible.
Pope Francis was unable to travel to Dubai because of flu-like symptoms and lung inflammation. He called the decision bitter but necessary.
The extreme rainfall disrupting life across the region. Private schools closed and government workers sent home, with many roads impassable. A cat clinging to a car in water as high as the headlights, saved by a rescuer in a boat. This historic rain has turned deadly. At least one man killed in Dubai when his car was swept away, while in neighboring Oman, authorities say at least 18 were killed in flash flooding. Dozens more rescued, some by helicopter. And in nearby Pakistan, the death toll has now surpassed 60, officials say. In the UAE, the unprecedented rain is raising concerns about something called cloud seeding, which the UAE has been doing for years.
Cloud seeding is an attempt to get more water out of clouds. This is largely by making the droplets larger and more able to survive.
Cloud seeding uses airplanes to disperse chemicals like silver iodine inside clouds to give moisture something to cling to. Badly needed in deserts like the Gulf, but not when it falls this fast. The UAE's National Center of Meteorology says no cloud seeding took place during this rainfall, but doesn't deny cloud seeding flights took place in the days before. But weather experts say it was unlikely a factor, given how the whole region was inundated with rain.
The weather system that produced the rain in Dubai is over hundreds of kilometers, really very many organized thunderstorms. There's a real mismatch between what you might do in a local way with cloud seeding and this regional rainfall we've seen over a really wide area.
Tonight, Dubai is cleaning up from the chaos and bracing for more extreme weather to come.
Whiteout, one of 3 new flavors of Mountain Dew. You choose which one stays.
We also had an interesting meteorological phenomenon, you can call it, play out. Supercells, they ripped through southwest Oklahoma last night. Radar, and we're looking at satellite as these storms just blossomed as we work towards sunset. But radar detected a tornado debris signature, but not just one, signatures with an S. And there are a few reports of damage as a result. You see how those storms just blossomed over the state of Oklahoma, and notably in Kansas. But when we're looking at what occurred in Oklahoma, radar detected some strange things last night. Supercells, these mesocyclones as they're called, they're rotating storms. In the northern hemisphere, they typically rotate counterclockwise, almost always. Tornadoes also spin in that direction. But last night, radar detected an anticyclonic satellite tornado, as it's called, Marissa, meaning it spun the other direction, clockwise, and rotated around, I guess, what you would call this normal tornado. We're looking at velocity, and to dissect it is fascinating. Don't want to get caught up so much in it, but what we saw yesterday is very rare.
It's an anomaly. I mean, it doesn't happen all too often, and still some things a little misunderstood about it. But I mean, the fact that about 2% of tornadoes are actually anticyclonic. When you're looking at radar, this is for the velocity couplet near Loveland, you have to know where your radar site is, right? Because you have to know, remember, green means the wind's moving toward, and red means away. And so that's going to give you those indicators as you look at it of which way the winds are going. So away and toward would be indicated by the reds and the greens there. Easy to miss if you're not looking at it and actually thinking about it.
It's true. And when you're looking at these 2 different couplets that were detected and how you have that, what would maybe be perceived as the normal tornado, these satellite tornadoes, you can consider, you know, our moons like our satellite, right? It's connected to the system, but it's tangentially connected. And very little is understood about them. And the fact that they can rotate in the clockwise direction speaks to the anomalous element of it.
And that's a good point. You're not going to get that anticyclonic tornado without another tornado near.
Jesus, Bill, I've never seen clutter like this.
I don't think anybody has.
Bill, we're in the core.
Okay, we got sisters.
Hi, God. Yes? Julia, I can't talk to you right now. We're right under the flanking line.
I realize that.
We can't attack this thing from the south. We're gonna get rolled.
Watch me.
Julia, I know you're upset. You just gotta breathe. We both just gotta breathe. Cow. I gotta go, Julia. We got cows. Another cow.
Actually, I think that was the same one. Damn it, we got drunkards here. We got no path.
This is not good. Get us out of here.
I'm trying, okay?
Multiple wildfires torching Texas, crews are taking on the colossal task of getting the flames under control as officials confirm 1 person has died. The massive Smokehouse Creek fire has already burned more than 850,000 acres across the Texas Panhandle, quickly becoming the 2nd largest fire in the state's history.
Lasers sound like the stuff of science fiction, right? Sound completely unbelievable. How could our military possibly be using those in future warfare? Guess what? We've just had a recent breakthrough, more great test results that are making lasers a reality. So it's called Athena. Lockheed Martin makes it, and they've been doing a lot of the pioneering in this laser field. Now what's really exciting about it is that it's so hard to harness that much power and make it compact enough that it's actually going to make practical sense downrange. And they've proven that they can do that. Recently, they tested it against 5 moving drones, so realistic drones that they might go up against with, enemy forces might send against us, for example, or terrorists might send against us. And it successfully shot down all 5 of the drones. This is huge news because it means that in a realistic, practical setting, it's looking very promising. So it could be ready to field quite soon. So when you see the movies or you look at comic books or television shows, when you see the laser weapons, they tend to be a color, right? Red or green or something like that. Real lasers, one of the key advantages that they provide is that they are invisible. You actually can't see them. You just see this damage suddenly starting to blow something up. So if we take a look now at what the Athena did to a truck. So we're looking at a truck engine, and the Athena within seconds was able to beam right in there, heat the whole thing up, and burn through the engine of this vehicle. So if you can imagine if you were in that vehicle, all of a sudden this hole would start appearing in your engine and the whole thing would just disappear. That's what these lasers do. Now there's some other key advantages that we should mention. Let me give you 3 of them. 1, unlimited ammo. As long as we have power, we have an unlimited magazine. And downrange, of course, having unlimited ammo can be a huge advantage. 2nd, it's silent. You don't give the enemy any advance warning that it's coming. And then the 3rd one I wanted to touch on is that it travels at the speed of light.
Mark Twain was famous for saying, "Everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it." Well, obviously, to control the weather, you'd have to have superpowers. A simple thunderstorm has more energy than a hydrogen bomb. So to control the weather is very difficult. The CIA tried it during the Vietnam War. They tried to seed the clouds with crystals, iodide crystals, that form nuclei to form rain clouds to stimulate a monsoon season. The CIA did not like the Viet Cong, and the Viet Cong would operate in the jungles. So why not stop them in their tracks by seeding the clouds and creating an artificial monsoon? Well, that was a failure. And it's very humbling knowing that many countries have tried to control the weather. None of these harebrained schemes have actually worked. However, now that we have global warming, some people are saying that we really should think about altering the weather itself. There is a doomsday plan proposed by a Nobel laureate, and that is that if the greenhouse effect spirals out of control, we should put rockets to shoot pollutants into the atmosphere to reflect sunlight back into outer space. That would be a doomsday mechanism to control the weather.
The chemtrail generator. Oh. Let's make sure that that thing's working. We're gonna go check this out. I got it. 133.6. Oh, look at that. They're working. They're working. You can see the chemtrails coming out of the entrance here. Look at that.
I'm dying to take a picture.
Oh, that's cool.
My neighbor, you got so I see.
Chemtrail generator. I'm doing a video. Chemtrail generators are on. And yeah, there it is. Look, you can see them. Oh, hey, that's awesome. It's working.
But weather control is really for a Type 1 civilization, minimum 100 years into the future.
So not only are we delivering powerful, decisive effects, lethality, we're also doing it so rapidly they don't know what hit them. So if you can circle back to that example of being in the car again, that would happen so instantaneously, within seconds, you truly would have no idea what was happening. It would just suddenly start disintegrating, right? So what can we use these against? So we talked about the vehicle a bit. We talked about how Athena has just proven itself against drones. But in the real world application, our forces could use it against the drones. We could use it against aircraft. We could use it against vehicles on the ground, like we mentioned. We could also use it against fast attack boats. And in fact, Athena's sibling, Adam, a couple years ago proved that it could eliminate these fast attack boats. So if you imagine boats start trying to swarm one of our ships, Not a problem for this laser. Burns right through the hull. As you can see right there, it's burning right through the hull. I'm incredibly excited about this news, this great news about the successful testing of Athena, because it means that we'll be putting these powerful weapons soon. We could put them in the hands of our warfighters and give them even more powerful weaponry to keep themselves safe and also to deliver the effects that we need. They can be used, laser weapons can be used offensively and of course defensively too, to help protect our homeland. Think of our airports that might be under threat from enemy drones. They could be used to protect we could use them statically and used to protect our airports. They could be used to protect our power grid, our nuclear plants. So there's lots of different exciting applications for this technology. There's no longer science fiction, but science fact.
Now, rescue efforts are continuing in Brazil as the south of the country grapples with days of heavy rains that have killed at least 31 people. 60 remain missing and 15,000 have been forced to leave their homes since the storms began on Saturday. The extreme weather has been caused by a rare combination of hotter than average temperatures, high humidity and strong winds.
This is the shuttle's fuel tank. It may only be 130 miles to space, but to cover that distance, the engines will use 500,000 gallons of fuel, and that works out at 2 feet to the gallon. Despite the cost, however, NASA does need to test these engines once in a while. So they built this place in the wetlands of Mississippi. The first thing they installed was a huge loudspeaker, through which they played white noise to simulate the sound of a rocket. They then sent a number of trucks in different directions out into the wilderness, and the drivers were ordered to stop when the noise levels became acceptable. This gave them an imaginary boundary line, and anyone living on the inside of it was offered a simple choice. Stay and you'll never hear another television program as long as you live, or take the NASA shilling and get out. No one stayed, and NASA ended up with exactly what it wanted: 125,000 acres of nothing. They even had to move 5 cemeteries, because the noise they were planning on making would wake the dead. If you can't hear what I'm saying, I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive, and as it turns out, the cleanest. Now, the most amazing thing is that that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain. I told you! It's raining! That's unbelievable! Oh. NASA's playing God. It's making its own weather.
Well, for more on this, we can speak to our BBC Brazil reporter, Daniel Gallas. So, Daniel, just bring us up to date with those rescue efforts in southern Brazil.
Yes, well, there's still 60 people missing and 32 dead. So this is likely to be the worst flood incidents in the number of deaths registered in that area. The state governor already said that this is the worst flooding that happened in that area. 500,000 people are without water or electricity, and there are a lot of people that haven't been able to be in touch with the outside world. So they're locked in these cities because they have no way of leaving the cities. The bridges have collapsed, the rivers have flooded, and the roads have flooded as well. So they're not able to leave these areas of risk. worst. The government is trying to come in with lots of helicopters and rescue people and establish communications. So it's pretty much the worst flood that this state, which has about 10 million people, has ever seen in history.
Flooded neighborhoods all across Houston this weekend after an ongoing downpour has forced people out of their homes and prompted more than 400 high water rescues. Reporter Madison Scarpino has the latest on how long the flood watch will stay in effect.
Much of southeast Texas underwater this weekend after torrential rains caused flash flood conditions across the greater Houston area.
I want to be very clear that we're not out of the woods yet, and that level of uncertainty remains. This incident has been very unpredictable.
Heavy rains over the past several weeks have filled reservoirs and saturated the soil. Now that the water has nowhere left to go, entire neighborhoods are left submerged under several feet of brown, murky water. Emergency crews have already made hundreds of rescues of people stranded on roadways and rooftops. Making things worse, officials forced to release even more water from a dam along the San Jacinto River. That caused the river level to shoot up by 5 to 6 feet in the span of just a few hours. Those who were forced to leave their homes in disbelief at what was left behind.
Spent 20 years building this place and watch it wash away. Nothing you can do.
Houston is one of the most flood-prone regions of the country. Many here lived through the devastation caused by Hurricane Harvey in 2017. With that in mind, some are just trying to stay in good spirits, relieved that their families are safe.
All our kids are out, our pets are out, we're out. It's replaceable. It's okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my goodness, look at all these houses.
I was made to
Showmanship and theatrics. When a magician waves his hand and says, this is where the magic is happening, the real trick is happening somewhere else. Misdirection, a basic concept of magic.
I need to get to here. What's there? The earliest estimate of the singularity, when man will be able to transfer his consciousness into machines and achieve immortality.
So you're upset about missing out on becoming some sort of freakish, self-aware robot?
By this much?
Trust in me.